Hi everyone, this is Alma coming to you from Huntington Beach, California. Today is Saturday, July 29th of the year 2023, and this is going to be FlossTube number 104. So as always, I want to welcome you all. Welcome back to all my current viewers and subscribers, and thank you, as always, for your continuing support. A special welcome to anybody that's visiting for the first time. I hope that you like what you see today, you find a reason to stay, subscribe, and continue to follow me on my stitching journey. I hope that everybody's doing well. I hope that everybody's staying safe and sound. Everything's good here. I am on vacation mode for quite a while, kind of like the bookends of the summer vacation, because I was on 100% vacation at the beginning, and then now I have about almost 4 weeks until I start my own classes back up. Uh, I have the materials for some of the classes already, so I'll take this time to review on my own to be familiar with the materials, so that I'm not, altogether scrambling to keep up once school starts back up. But I also will, of course, take the opportunity to stitch as much as I can um, before my free time is completely gone. So I do have quite a bit of variety for you guys today. So without further ado, let's get to the stitching. And this is going to be in no particular order. But first up is my Heaven and Earth Designs chart. This is Mini 1 by, artwork is by Cindy Nielsen. This is my oldest WIP. I started this in August of 2018. And I'll just put this over here. And I do want to work on this a little bit more, but as it is, I added 2,200 stitches this month, the last couple of weeks since I filmed my last video. I originally was just stitching top down, kind of like the typewriter method that everybody was talking about a few months ago. Just filling in those the small gaps, but I kind of got frustrated with it because, at least from where I was standing, I didn't really see the difference. I would do 200 stitches and it was all like this confetti up here and just kind of scattered throughout, that it didn't look like I was doing much of anything. So I decided to switch tactics, and I'm just going to do like color by color, basically, on on one section, and then just move on to the next. Uh, I just hit 44% on this, so I'm pretty excited about it. I ideally wanted to get to 50% at the end of the year, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, it could, like if I were to just, especially now that I am on vacation, I could just stitch on this for just days on end until I get to 50%. But we'll see. Next up is a chart that I showed you last time as well. This is Tea by Anna Dittman from Heaven and Earth Designs. And of course, it's Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock Holmes from the BBC series. And this one, I don't have the amount written down. I kind of fell off the wagon on writing down how many stitches I did. But this is where we're at. And I mean, I can tell you what pattern keeper, because that's the other thing, is my Excel spreadsheet is not accurate, because this is not 100% full coverage. There are some blank spaces because of that watercolor effect. So here we go. So we're looking at like this section over here where there's no actual stitches. It does fade off after a while. So even though I have my own spreadsheet where I have like how much you know, how many stitches I did. I'm basing it off of percentage, so it tells me that I'm doing a lot more than I actually did. But according to Pattern Keeper, I'm at 3,884 stitches. The stitches that I did were, I kind of kept going, obviously, with some more of the outlining of the hand, filled in some of the words, filled in some more of it, but then I also, um, I wanted to, again, kind of like working the same way I was doing with Mini 1, I did want to close some of the gaps, some of the random uh, white stitches that I had on the corner. So I did do that until I got to the edge here, because the same color that's used in this shade is also used in the background over here. So um, I kind of like the idea of knowing where the hand is and watching it, you know, come together. So I may just hold off on doing that section of the background until I get more of the hand done. Um, but I am keeping this on the Q-snap because I feel like I will want to stitch on this again. Um, but I also have quite a bit of plans for August, so unsure. We'll see. Um, yeah, there's a lot of things I want to get done before I go back to school. Next thing I want to show you is a pattern that I started a few years ago. This is Katrina by Yanni Stitcher here on FlossTube. Oop. And I think I started this in 2020 because that's when I started all the things, and then 2021 I did no new starts. So complete 180. And if you remember from my video last time, you'll know that I was challenged to finish this by the end of the summer session. And you know, it was pretty quiet at the tutoring center, so I was able to finish her. I still need to iron her, obviously, but I was able to finish her. Um, the detailings were quite something, if I may say so myself. Um, I had to get a finer needle. You know, the camera doesn't like close up. I noticed that every time at least on my end, it looks like it's glitching anytime I do something that's way too close. So much for the record. I tried. But you can see pretty much what it looks like. Man, it's really struggling. Okay. Um, again, I'll watch the video back to see if it does that for you guys, but at least on my end for the recording bit, you know, it's glitching. Anyway, I was gonna say something, now I forgot about. Oh, so for this one, yes. So I was saying I had to get a finer needle because most of the background back stitch did have to split the stitches. They were like in the middle of the square. So but yeah, once I did that, it made it easier. I didn't have much issues with it. Um, so yeah, so now I just have to frame this and yeah, well, iron and frame it, right? So the ironing comes first. But yeah, I do have her second pattern. The kind of like the sister pattern to this is called Mexicanita, Little Mexican Girl. Um, and I have the same. I still have a cut of the same fabric for this because I wanted them to look, you know, kind of be stitched on the same one. I don't know if it's gonna be big enough though. I have to check because it's only this wide. The length I don't think should be a problem. It's the width that I am concerned about. But I'll have to check. I didn't really look into much details for that one. The one thing I did check was to see how much backstitch that used. So I was like, after dealing with all the details with Katrina. Oh, and I omitted the name. I didn't think it needed it. But yeah, after working with all the backstitch for her, I was just like, oh my gosh, what is the other one going to look like? Uh, but there's hardly any backstitch on that one. The only backstitch there's is because it's the um the girl is has your has her back to like the camera from how it's designed, but she's also turning. So the only backstitch that that piece has is the profile, is the outline. So so that's good. That's good news. It won't be too much of an issue if and when I decide to start her. Next up, um, once I finished her, I kind of again I got into the groove of like, yeah, let's finish stuff, let's make progress. So my brain decided that the next thing that should be worked on to try to get more progress in it is my villains piece, my Disney villains piece, which I found on Etsy from Zana Cross Stitch. And this one, I also started I think in 2020. I originally meant to do, like, I remember I was like, I'll do a villain per month and I'll have her finished in 4 months. And then it went to a villain per year. And that's not looking so good either. But but that is my next focus, at least for now. Oh, here, because it's still on the Q snap. I'll at least take the top off so you can see where Ursula is at, because that's the section I'm at right now. So this is Ursula, and this is what I took to work with me for the last week. Um, I did have to finish some training at work towards the end, so I wasn't able to stitch as much as I was doing the rest of the summer session. But I was able to alternate. So because I was taking it to work, what I would do is when I was home, I would work on like the confetti. So a lot of the confetti on her forehead and her eyebrows is completely done. So that's how I'm just kind of working my way downwards. I finished again the shading in her cheek. Um, so but obviously there's like a little bit more left. Um, But yeah, so when I'm at home and I have the time to devote to the confetti, I work on confetti. But then what I did was Pattern Keeper does let you sort the threads by stitch count now. So I just looked to see which color was used the most, and I just worked on those. Um, so that's how I was able to complete the skin tones. I think I have like two, maybe three skin tones 100% done now. Um, I think I'm at like 54 or 53% on her. 50, 53.89. um, so with her, I'm just over halfway done. But overall, considering that this is also going to be two more villain ladies over here, I am just about at 39% overall. So I do want to finish. I do want to finish her section so that I can be at least at like an even 50% um, on this entire project, and then I can just move on to something else. So yeah, this is going to be next, but I don't know when, but it'll be next. I still have a few days left in July, because I'll talk about August plans in just a bit. But first, I want to show you the other piece that I want to complete. Um, this these like in this break. That is my little prince from Mandarin's Designs. There we go. That's kind of focused, right? I've been working on this quite diligently the last month. Um, So this is what we're at so far. I went from being at 43% to 67%. I say only, right? But I have 4,346 stitches to go, most of which are half stitched. So it's looking more like maybe 2,300 instead of 4,300. But again, this is uh, this is another one that I do want to finish this break, because excuse me, I really don't have that much left to go. Last time I showed it to you, just so you can get an idea. Last time I showed this to you, I was at 43%, and then I jumped to 67%. So I don't have the actual stitch count of how much that is. Um, I can tell you that I'm currently at 8,988, but I don't know how much of that was done in the last 2 weeks. Probably a lot though, not gonna lie. Um, so yeah, I'm struggling to find some of the colors. I know I have them, I just don't know where. I don't know if I put them in bags or what have you, but I feel like I may just choose the equivalent if I don't have them around, because I do want to finish it. Whatever it takes, I want to finish it. Last one I want to show you is another one that I picked up this month because I started it and then I just didn't add anything to it. I think I added maybe like 300 stitches when I first started it, and that's it. But it's my electrical parade mandala. If it would focus. It doesn't like focusing. It's just struggling a lot right now. Come on. There we go. Um, the Etsy shop is Atomic Tiki Pins, which you can kind of see the watermark on the picture. I'm stitching this along with Sarah from our Stitching Kingdom. We both started on the center, um, and we've just been chit-chatting back and forth, kind of sharing tips or just oh well I did this instead. This is what I have so far. I am at 1,328 stitches. She's quite a bit ahead of me. She's already finished with the entire sign or the words. She added the sparkly thread, and so what she's doing and what I may end up doing as well is she's omitting the black stitching. So you have the entire drum of the Main Street Electrical Parade sign. That's all stitched on black, so we're already using a black fabric. So she posed the question to some of our other stitching friends, and they all said to just don't do the black, just skip the black altogether. So I may end up doing that as well to spare my eyesight first of all, but also again just uh, in the long run, I don't think uh, it would make much of a difference. Because she's already added some of the sparkly threads. Um, it already looks really nice. So yeah, I may just go ahead and skip the black as well. Uh, But yeah, plus that'll give me a nice boost, right? Because I can just mark those stitches as done on Pattern Keeper, and that'll automatically be like, congratulations, you just finished, however many percent, because it's a big piece. Um, so according to Pattern Keeper, with those 1,300 stitches, I'm just coming up on 3%. It's 2.93%. So I feel like uh, marking those black stitches done is probably going to boost me probably to like maybe another another 3%, maybe five, maybe hit 6% or 5% completion. Um, to be determined, but I am leaning towards just not doing it. Um, so that's what I've been up to this last couple of weeks. Um, for August, I think I may have talked about this in my previous video. I do want to do arbitrary August, and Sammy is letting us. Uh, she's letting us do a combination of both the categories that she usually picks for us, but also arbitrary August. So I've done a wheel. I've already set up my little wheel where I put all the whips that haven't gotten 500 stitches yet, um, which is the goal that I set for myself this year is to get 500 stitches in all my whips. So what I'm doing is within those whips, I think there's maybe like 18 or 20 of them. Within those whips, I'm going to choose, or if there's any that fit a category, I'll use those. So for example, so the categories that she picked for us for August is least amount done, which for me is going to be Persephone, because I started her and I literally only did 100 stitches. Um, before moving on to something else. So this is her. In case you're not familiar with her, um, I am changing her dress though. I'm changing the aquamarine tones to purple and the yellow and gold to black and gray. Um, and then the newest start. So again, even though technically the mandala is my newest start, that already has gotten the 500 stitches. So the newest start within the wheel is my best memories pattern. Again, this got 100 stitches, and then I didn't pick it back up. Um, so that could have gone for both, but again, I just, because of the categories, that's how I chose to do it. Closest to a finish is kind of a tricky one. For this one, I am doing my um, my dimensions kit, the mason jar lineup. So it's this design, which hasn't seen the light of day in quite some time. Ugh, I'm trying to. Okay, there we go. That looks semi-straight. Okay, not really, but it's either that or glare. Anyway, um, this doesn't have that much done. This is what I have on it so far. Focus. Well, you can kind of see, even if there we go. Oh, needle minder by stitching button. But yeah, this is what I have so far on it. Clearly, it's not much, but considering that most of my whips are full coverage, relatively, in terms of how many stitches you need or I need to finish the whip, this is probably the one that needs the least amount. So that's what I'm basing it off of. Because the other one I considered was Nevermore, but that that one I feel like still has a lot to do. Um, and then the next category is Struggle Bus, which is just, you know, a whip that you just, for whatever reason, don't pick up for one reason or another. And I'm trying to find the cover page for it. Scroll, scroll, scroll. There we go. I'm using Consider the Lilies for that one. There we go. Because for this one, again, it's beautiful. I love it. I was so thrilled to start this design. Um, but that's all I have done so far. So yeah, just for whatever reason, it stopped calling to me, or it's such a large design that it's almost like overwhelming to stitch on it. But that's all the more reason to stitch on it. So I picked it for that category. And then the last category, I don't know why I close this out every time. The last category is a holiday piece. Now, if you know me, you know I don't do holiday pieces. Um, the only holiday pieces I do have are like Halloween. So that's what I'm going for. I decided that for that one, I'm going to do uh, Tomb Sweet Tomb or Nevermore. So this is another category that Nevermore might fit in because they're both Halloween. So that's it. So um, I may actually, just because of the fact that I'm going to be on vacations, I'm gonna have free time. That means I'm gonna be stitching quite a bit. Um, I may end up having quite a bit to show you uh, for my next video. So I may actually do one next week instead of in 2 weeks. I have decided that I will um, stop filming when the semester starts, so I won't film while I'm in school. I may film, if we have like a long weekend or, once once Thanksgiving break comes around, like I will film during those vacation days, but just during the semester, it's not so much, the filming itself is not too much of an issue. Um, because it's only like 20-30 minutes each video, but it's like I have to stitch during the week to have stuff to show you, and that sometimes like the pressure, like it's not that much of a pressure, but it is pressure, like okay, I have to stitch, otherwise it's going to be a boring video or I'm not going to have anything to show. So I just during school needs to be priority. So I've decided to just not film so I don't have that pressure and I can just fully devote myself to my studies. Um, but you will have me for at least another 4 weeks. Again, I go back to school on the 22nd. So again, almost 4 weeks, not quite. Um, but yeah, that's all I wanted to talk to you today. Yeah, I think that's all. I covered all of the topics I wanted to talk about in this video. Um, so again, because of arbitrary August, I will have quite a bit to show you next time. If you have any questions about anything that you saw today, feel free to drop me a comment. I do try to put all the links down below in the description box. I don't have, like, for things like my heids, I don't have the room to just list all my heids. So I just do that's why I always make sure to mention the artist um, and the name of the piece so that you can search for that in the website. But yeah, otherwise links to individual Etsy shop pieces are available. Um, and yeah, as always, I hope you guys have a productive weekend or a relaxing weekend, a productive week, and you always find the time to do the thing that makes you happy. Until next time, ciao.